Yabatto. So today I am out in Smith Lake, New Mexico, place I've been through quite a few times, especially work related. And I'm going to interview a gentleman who's from Iyanbito, but currently is living around the area in the valley and all that, but I think Smith Lake's the closest one. And him and I have traded a lot of stories before deciding to do an interview. And today was a very special day because I got stuck in traffic on the way out. And then also I missed out on one big event, which I was hoping to capture on camera, but I will give you the aftermath of that. So I really hope you all enjoy this one. Alrighty, sir, ready to get this started.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Brian Pacenti. Kiani Shlo, Todichi, Pashin, Halso, Dashachetu, Ashin, Tashanala. And I'm originally from Iyanbito. It really has three names on the roadside. On I-40 it says Iyanbito. And then in KTNN they call it Livestock. And then the people that are from there, they call it Sayaltke. So that's where I'm from Yabatto, like that. I'm 53 years old and I work construction. I'm a construction superintendent. And I've been doing that for 35 years. And I didn't ask for anything. I was just thrown in there. First I was given a shovel, and then next thing you know, I had to get nail bags. And then next thing you know, I had to sit at a computer. So I kind of went full circle with that now. So that's where I'm at now.
You grew up in Yabatto. So now you gave out three names. So which one would you prefer to identify the area?
Well, when I talk about it, I usually talk about it from what's on the roadside of Yabatto because everybody knows where that's at.
Mm-hmm. Which means Buffalo Springs.
Yeah, Buffalo Springs. But some of the guys that I work with, especially Arizona, that's always a big deal. Arizona, Navajo, New Mexico, Navajo. I don't know who made it a big deal, but
probably Arizona.
When I speak with them, I tell them that it's also called Livestock because they say on KTNN, and they say, "Oh, okay, now I know where that's at." Livestock, that means the white goats. My great grandmother owned a lot of goats. And when people would travel by there, they would see them from the roadside. And that's why they call it Livestock.
And then what was the other name of it again?
Sayaltke. This is the name of a rock there. When you get to Yabatto, you'll see it when you face north. And it's cup-shaped like. You yell at it. I guess it's the echo. It has a real good echo, so that's why they call it Sayaltke.
So I got invited out there. Supposedly, spoiler alert for what's possibly coming up is that there is some Bigfoot cries out there from another gentleman. So I'm hoping to be out there for some more nighttime exploring spookiness. So after in Yabatto, so how long were you there before you started venturing out and discovering your career?
I was there, lived there for about maybe 20 years. I grew up with a single mother. My dad left when I was 2 years old. My dad he was famous on the reservation. He used to sing in the old res band, Defenders. So my mom's uncle, his name was Ernie Murphy. He used to play in the Wingate Valley Boys. So she used to follow her uncle around to these dances to get in free. And that's how she met my dad. But I don't know what happened. I guess alcohol really took a toll on that, and he chose that route to go that way. And so that's how I ended up with a single mother. But I was fortunate. I always had electricity and water. My Che was the chapter president, so he really fought for those things to get it installed in the Yabatto. Iyanbito was one of the first communities to get water and electricity. But I grew up with my grandparents, and they were really traditional people, meaning they followed the corn pollen way. They didn't really speak of Christianity or NAC way. So I'm not familiar with that. But I always heard them say, you never bother anybody else's prayer. That's what I was told. But I was always told to take care of our traditional ways. And some of the things they did was, they always said nothing's free. They always made offerings. Even when they would haul wood, they would stop and make a smoke for the forest, pray for the forest, make their offerings, and then they would load wood. So that's what they did.
So I've heard that numerous times about doing offerings, and a gentleman from Shiprock taught me how to do an offering. So when you're getting chish from the forest, what's usually said when you do a prayer?
But see, the trees, it's the plant people. None they set the net. That's who they make their offering to. And they pray for them, and they also, of course, everything, they pray for rain. But that's how I've seen them make their offerings like that. They usually use corn pollen.
Corn pollen?
Yeah.
So
They usually use corn pollen.
is it because of how sacred it is to us? And you offer that sacredness to them as well? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. And then when you pray, are you praying for water to continue to feed the plants and the trees and take care of the forest? And then also probably you pray for the seasons?
Yeah.
So we can still have the 4 seasons that we follow?
Yeah.
Then you
The 4
pray.
seasons, and also the Navajos were great astronomers, and they always prayed that the star people will take care of them and continue to show them the constellations. That's when they know when to do what. Like in Da, it's actually supposed to start until after the solstice.
Which will be in June?
Yeah. If you do it before then, when you tie the drum, you're tying up the rain too. And that's what some people say. That's why we don't have rain like it used to be. So it intertwines with that too.
Da, which is enemy way ceremony. It's done after the summer solstice, all the way until the winter solstice.
Yeah.
Which is usually in October.
Yeah, around then. But back then, disease, sickness don't know the seasons. And there was a couple of times that I've heard stories where they hadn't thought when it was snowing. And then it snowed so much that they used to chop down pinon branches, lay it down in front of the hogan. That's where they would stand on top of that, where the horses ran in the snow. Even Yabatto's like that too. They have summertime Yabatto. So sickness don't know the seasons. Sometimes if you have to do it, you gotta do it.
So Little heads up, everybody. Let's follow the solstice.
Yeah, but it's all different now. People, these different ceremonies, they're pretty much originated from the same place, but as time went on, they really changed. They really do things different.
Yeah, and so with that, do you think it involves mostly with us, or like culturally, we start mixing with other tribes, or?
Yeah. Traditionally, any other race other than Navajo is considered the enemy, and not a Jin. So that's just what I was told. That's just what I was told growing up when a lot of things were explained to me. But now there's a lot of intermarriage and anything, and you can't say anything. You know, people live their lives like that. But back then there was arranged marriages. And I think that's how a lot of things stayed Navajo like that.
Because you made sure your clans and everything weren't intermixing, and you followed. And then you had traditional weddings as well too, so you still kept that traditional practice going.
Yep. Even weddings today, you see them taking place at high noon. Traditionally, you're supposed to get married until the sun goes down, because the sun is really jealous and he can affect your marriage. That's what they say. And even to talk about infidelity, if you actually stray from your partner with somebody else, in Navajo religion, it costs a life. And I think a lot of people, they don't know that. They don't know the teachings like that. They would never talk to you like that. And they and it's not sacred to them anymore. Inna Bahala, Inna is life. Bahala is the cost. Inna Bahala. That's what I've heard when I was growing up and young too. I went to a lot of ceremonies with my grandparents, a lot of traditional ceremonies. And I heard a lot of these people talk, and it stuck with me. And when I was about 10 years old, my che passed on. And then when I was 13, my musana passed on. And I stopped going to these ceremonies. And I never went until I got like in a sophomore in high school. I really missed it. And I started going to Yabatto. I would just go in and sit by the door and just sit there and watch. And then I go to the next one again pretty soon. I kept seeing the same medicine man there. Finally, he asked me, "What's your name?" And that's where he called me his relative. And so sometimes I would go and he would say, "Oh, there he is. He'd shake my hand. And then the people, he would tell them, "Bring him something to eat for me." They would bring in food for me, and that really felt good. It felt like my grandparents were taking over everything, making sure everything was okay for me. And so that's how I snowballed. Then I started seeing other people. Then they started saying, "We're having Dot come over," or "We're having Bajik come over," or "We're having Hatkal." Different ceremonies like that, I would be invited, and that's how I started learning back again, by meeting these people. And it's got me so far, and it's really humbling. They don't say anything. They don't say, "This is going to happen to you. If you don't do this, that's going to happen to you." They always talk about Hujo. Hujo nan dotle. Ashte dotle. That's what they used to say. Ashte dotle. And then my grandparents, you know, what they instilled in me, what they taught to me, is they always told us, you know, the tip of your tongue is it can be dangerous what you say to people, because they say nihisad your language is a prayer. Don't talk about other people. Don't talk about yourself in that way too, because it'll come true. And that's what I was told. So now when I see people and they really talk, "I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that to them," you see that a lot now. But in my time, I can still remember when they would say, "Allah has just Z." You only speak one time and that's it. Because of that, you only say what you need to get across. You don't need to be throwing things back and forth. The other thing that really bothers me that I see now is how people pick on each other about livestock. We have songs for them, we have prayers for them, we have ceremonies for them, and they say, somebody come get your cows, they're just over here. Go get your horses, they're just over here. They say that. And I think, wow, people are like that. My grandparents were different. My grandma would see a bunch of horses standing at the corral by the trough. She would say, go turn the water on for them. We would turn the water on for those horses or those cows, even though they weren't hers. And she would still take care of them. And then she would say, don't bother anybody's animals, is what I was told. Don't be chasing them around. And I see that a lot now. People really picking on each other because of that. And that's how I know that our people are really changing. And the other thing that I noticed too is our Navajo people are really, how would you say it? They rather have dogs. They rather have dogs than the sheep or the cows or anything like that. And what my teaching was is the mai, the owls, the night animals are there to protect us and give us warning. And so the mai, when he runs in your path, that's talking God's protector. And he's the one that's warning you, get something done, you need to do something. His first protector was a dog, and he would stay outside. And one day he was missing. He looked all over for him. He couldn't find him. He even cried too. He looked all over, and then after a while he finally found him. He was living among the Pueblo. And goes, the dog told him, no, not me. He goes, look at how they treat me. He says, I'm living in their house. They clean up after me. I just poop anywhere and they clean up after me. They put food right underneath me too. And he goes, look at that. They have all these jewels for me. There was a bunch of turquoise hanging up on the wall behind him. And then he told Hashilka, you go back. He goes, one of these days you're going to learn. You're going to learn, and the dog is going to take over the Navajo tribe again. They're going to be worshiping me like the way they're worshiping, the way I get worshipped here with the Pueblos, he said that. And that's what I think about. That's what I think about when I see people really having dogs and all that, and they say, you're not supposed to see dog crap, you're not supposed to see it throw up, you're not supposed to see them mate on top of each other. They told us you're not supposed to see stuff like that. So those are some of the things that I noticed.
Oh, and there it is. It is right there.
Yeah.
Huh?
And it was told that they used to grind up their relatives' bones and mix it with the pottery. And that's how it hurts your legs when you step on it, or you put it on your house, you see black images. And nowadays, I just heard this part that if it breaks, they crush it up again and make a new pot. Basic English. That's how I pray like that. That's how I end it.